For number 9, we're going to solve the equation 1 over 4x minus 5 equals 3/4 x minus 12. Now, the problem does say show two different ways. We're just going to work it through one way to get the correct answer. So the first step is to combine our x variables, the 1/4 and the 3/4. We move the 3/4 x to the left-hand side, and we do the opposite. So instead of 3/4, we do a minus 3/4. And using our calculator, 1/4 minus 3/4 is going to give us a negative 2/4, or a negative 1/2 x. The minus 5 stays the same, and the negative 12 stays the same on the other side. To combine our next pair of like terms, we're going to combine the 5 and the 12. We do the opposite of a minus 5, we do a plus 5. The negative 1/2 x stays the same. Negative 12 plus 5 is going to give us a negative 7. And then our last step, always last step in solving equations, is to divide. We divide by a negative 1/2. Negative 7 divided by negative 1/2 is going to give us a positive 14. Two negatives make a positive. Our final answer is x equals 14. For number 10, it asks which equation has the same solution as 1/2 6 minus x plus 3x equals 1/2 x minus 8. So we're going to start by solving the equation, and we multiply our parentheses. So we multiply 1/2 of 6 is 3, and then the 1/2 and the x can just be put together to make 1/2 x. The plus 3x equals 1/2 x minus 8 stays the same because there's no parentheses there. Combine the like terms, the negative 1/2 x plus the 3x. Negative 1/2 plus 3 is going to give us a positive 2.5. Keep that x variable the same. We go ahead and combine our like terms again. The 2.5 and the 1/2 x are on opposite sides, so we do the opposite of 1/2. We do a minus 1/2. 2.5 minus 1/2 is 2, so that gives us 2x. Combining the next pair of like terms, the 3 and the negative 8 are on opposite sides, so we do the opposite of 3. We do a minus 3. Negative 8 minus 3 is going to give us a negative 11. And our last step when we are solving equations is to divide. We cannot do 11 divided by 2 evenly, so we leave it a fraction. X equals 11 over 2. Now, when it comes to solving each individual equation, we have to solve A, B, C, and D until we get the same answer, 11 over 2. So for letter A, we have 3 plus 2x equals 1/2 x minus 8. To combine like terms, we do the opposite of 1/2. We do a minus 1/2. 2 minus 1/2 is 1 and 1/2. Our next pair of like terms, we do the opposite of 3. We do a minus 3. Negative 8 minus 3 gives us negative 11. And our last step is to divide. We would divide by 1 and 1/2. Negative 11 divided by 1 and 1/2 is going to give us negative 7 and 1/3. So A is not a correct answer. For letter B, we have 6 minus x plus 3x equals x minus 16. We don't have any parentheses, but we can combine the negative 1x and the positive 3x. Negative 1 plus 3 is going to give us a positive 2. The x minus 16 will stay the same. Instead of doing a 1x, we do the opposite. We do a minus 1x to combine our like terms. 2 minus 1 is 1. To combine our next pair of like terms, we do the opposite of 6. We do a minus 6. Negative 16 minus 6 is going to give us a negative 22. And our last step is to divide. We divide by negative 1. Two negatives make a positive. We end up with a positive 22, and so B is not correct. For letter C, we have 3 plus 5 over 2x equals 1/2 x minus 8. Combining our like terms, we do the opposite of 1/2 x. We do a minus 1/2 x. 5 over 2 minus 1 over 2 is going to give us a positive 2. So that's a 2x. The negative 8 we can combine with a 3. We do the opposite of 3. We do a minus 3. Negative 8 minus 3 is negative 11. And then our last step is to divide. Negative 11 divided by 2 we cannot solve, so we leave it the fraction negative 11 over 2, which is the same answer we got earlier, meaning C is the correct answer. The last question said Haley chose A as the correct answer. How did she get that answer? When Haley was solving part A and she combined her 2x and her 1/2 x, she didn't subtract it. We had to subtract 1/2 x and get an answer of 1 and 1/2. She did not. She added the 1 and the 2 and the 1/2 x and got 2 and 1/2, which was similar to the problem in the beginning. For number 1, we're going to solve the equation 5 plus 3, and then in parentheses y minus 4 equals 5, in parentheses y plus 2, and then minus y. We start by distributing, meaning we multiply our parentheses. The 5 on the outside stays the same. 3 and y together make 3y. 3 and 4 make 12. In the second set of parentheses, 5 and y make 5y. 5 and 2 make 10, and the minus y stays the same. When it comes to combining like terms, we can combine the 5y minus y. Everything else that we did not use stays the same. So the 5 plus the 3y minus the 12. The 5y minus 1y can give us 4y. Another pair of like terms we can combine are the 5 and the minus 12. 5 minus 12 would give us a negative 7 or a minus 7. Our next pair of like terms are our 4y and 3y. They're on opposite sides, so we do the opposite operation. 3 minus 4 is going to give us a negative 1. Our next pair of like terms are the 7 and the 10. So instead of a minus 7, we do the opposite. We do a plus 7. We end up with negative 1y equals 17. And our last step is to divide. We divide by negative 1, meaning our final answer becomes a negative 17. Letter D is our correct answer. For number 2, it asks which equation does not have the same solution as 1/3 parentheses 9 minus 2x equals x plus 1. So to solve that equation, we start by multiplying. 1/3 times 9 is going to give us 3. 1/3 times the negative 2 is going to give us a negative 2/3 x. When it comes to combined like terms, we take the 1x, we do the opposite, we do a minus 1x. Meaning we end up with a negative 1 and 2/3 x. Again, combining like terms, we do the opposite of 3, we do a minus 3. 1 minus 3 is a negative 2. And our last step is to divide. We divide by negative 1 and 2/3. When we're using the calculator and you type it in, negative 2 divided by negative 1 and 2/3, we end up with 1 and 1/5 as our final answer. So we're going to solve each of our answers, each of our problems, to figure out which one gives us the correct solution. For letter A, we have 2 equals 1 and 2/3 x. There's only one step, so that means the only step we have to do is division. When we divide 2 divided by 1 and 2/3, we end up with 1 and 1/5, which is the same answer, meaning A is not correct, because the question asks which one does not have the same answer. For letter B, we're combining the like terms, the negative 2x and the 1x. They're on opposite sides, so we do the opposite of 1x. We do a minus 1x. Negative 2 minus 1 gives us a negative 3. Again, combining like terms, we do the opposite of 3. We do a minus 3. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. And then our last step is to divide. We divide by negative 3. Negative 2 divided by negative 3 would end up being a positive 2/3, which is not the same answer, meaning our correct answer is letter B. Number 3. 3 students solved the equation 2 parentheses 3x minus 8 equals 32 in different ways, but each student arrived at the correct answer. Select all of the solutions that show a correct method for solving the equation. So in the beginning, letter A, they took 1/2 times 2 and 1/2 times 32. This method ends up getting rid of the parentheses, where we would normally multiply 2 times 3 to get 6 and 2 times 8 to get 16. This takes out that step. And so they got rid of the parentheses, the 3x minus 8, and then half of 32 gave them their 16. When they kept solving, they do the opposite. So instead of a minus 8, they do a plus 8. 16 plus 8 gave them 24. And then their last step is to divide. 24 divided by 3 is 8. In letter B, again, our first step would be to distribute, and we would multiply. 2 times 3 should give you a 6x minus 16, not 5x minus 8. So letter B is our incorrect answer. Letter A was a correct answer because we did solve it correctly. Letter B is solved incorrectly. Letter C, they started by distributing. 2 times 3 gave them 6, and 2 times 8 gave them 16. They went ahead and divided first. Normally, our last step is here to divide last. They went ahead and divided first, dividing all of their numbers by 6, and then dividing and combining like terms to get 48 over 6. Either method is fine. They still get you the same answer. B is the only one that was solved incorrectly. Consider the equation 2 parentheses 4x minus 5 equals ax plus b. From the list of digits provided, determine the values of a and b that make the solution for the equation x equals 3. So if we have the problem 2 and then in parentheses 4x minus 5, we don't know the ax or the plus b, but we can go ahead and distribute. We can multiply our 2 and 4 to get 8 and our 2 and 5 to get 10. Now again, we don't know the a and b values, but we can go ahead and plug in the x value because it tells us x is 3. So on one side, 8 times 3 is 24. 24 minus 10 is 14. Again, we can't solve the a and the x, but we do know that x is 3, so we can solve it as 3a plus b. And so when we're plugging in our values, we need to know 3 times what plus b gets us that same answer of 14. When we multiply, we can do 3 times 4, which would get us 12, and then plus 2 would get us 14. That would mean a is 4, 3 times 4, and plus 2 would give us our 14.